All right, this is Tommy with AAA Exterminating Company out in Oxford today. Really great weather, sun shining, really beautiful day. But we're doing a wood destroying insect report for a buyer on a house that's over 100-something years old. These are real interesting, and this is a good one. We've got a little bit of everything that we usually run into. It's very normal to run into old house borers, platypus beetles, moisture issues, old termite stuff on older houses, and this kind of has all of that. Also, another interesting thing about this house, though, is the foundation's newer and the floor system's newer, so a lot of work's been done. So in this case, even the old termite evidence is going to need to be treated because there's no longer any evidence of treatment on the newer foundation. So that's kind of a confusing situation we have sometimes. Luckily on this one, though, there's actually some termite evidence on the foundation itself, so it makes it a little easier to call. It's hard to explain to someone that termite damage from 100 years ago, because it's on a new foundation, now it's got to be treated because of that. Luckily, we actually have some on the foundation on this one, so it should be a little easier. But that's not the big thing. The big thing here is what happens whenever moisture control is not done right and whenever you don't have a house looked at once a year. This is what you can end up with when you go to sell your house.
Let's go!
Okay, so surprise number one, we got some old house borer evidence, and the home inspector gave me a heads up on this one. Thankfully, had a hornet's nest up underneath here. It's not active right now, but boy, if that's active and you're coming along here checking this and you pull back this insulation and you accidentally bump that thing or rip it open in the crawl space, that could really cause you some trouble. That'll get you a world of hurt right there. So definitely a dangerous thing you might run into in a crawl space. Got some water coming through here. The main concern so far is the active old house borers. I've done a couple videos on platypus beetles. Old house borers, they make holes that are more of an oval shape. You can see they're active. You can see some frass that's falling down. And these are active old house borers here in this floor system. Okay, and then here's a better look at the type of damage we can get from these old house borers. Basically, they'll get in behind that wood and turn it to powder like that. See, that's what they do. Yeah, these guys are nice and active. So yes, termites aren't the only thing we're looking for in these reports. These old house borers, they can do quite a bit of damage too, and they're active when you see the frash hanging down from the holes like that. So definitely got some issues here. But this is actually the small stuff. We got some stuff further up that's even a whole lot more troubling. And of course, another issue that I bring up every now and then is poor coverage with plastic. So see, I'm deeper at the door when you first go into the crawl space. They've got plastic all over there. They got a vapor barrier properly installed near the door. But then you go back further in the crawl space, and you can see they just gave up. They didn't do a good job. So hopefully this was just kind of a do-it-yourself vapor barrier, because if not, someone just completely ripped these folks off. And right here, we're not running into too bad of issues, but we've got some major stuff up ahead of us, and it's because of where they stopped this plastic. Up front, they've got zero coverage up there, and it has caused some major trouble in this house. I'm going to take you back further up front of the house and kind of show you what I'm talking about, but it is pretty significant stuff going on up here. Okay, now this is what's going to end up happening. Further in this crawl space, we came on down. This is literally like a science project growing on these floor joists. I mean, this is serious mold, and this mold is destroying this floor system right now. This is what can happen if you don't check your moisture. You know, most of the time, people may have absolutely no idea this stuff is here. It doesn't make any noises. It doesn't make a sound. A lot of people think you would know if this is under your house, but trust me, there's nothing inside the house that indicates this is going on. And by the time it does indicate this is going on, it's going to be too late, because you're going to start getting support girder sinking. You're going to start getting structural failure. So yeah, have someone look at your house at least once a year. Make sure this moisture's under control. And see, this comes down to a very bad job being done on our vapor barrier. Only near the crawl space door is covered, and they didn't cover the rest of the crawl space. And if that was done properly, say 10 years ago or whenever this was done, none of this would be an issue. But you can see the moisture here, 30%, 28% or so. And this is just saturated. The wood is soft now. It has been destroyed. It's being destroyed currently. This, you know, paying someone to do a good job on some moisture control 10 years ago, you probably could have had it done for less than $1,000 or so. This is going to be a significant job. This insulation is going to have to be removed. Of course, we got the active old house boards. We got everything else, but this insulation is going to have to be removed. The mold's going to have to be dealt with. The wood destroyed insects are going to have to be dealt with. This is going to be an extremely big, expensive job now. And it's got to be done, or this house will end up having a structural failure if this is not controlled properly. And you can see what happens, like up there at the front. I'm not sure how good it shows up. Let me get a better view. I'm not sure how good it shows up on the camera, but there's literally water dropping off of the floor joist up underneath the front porch here. So that's how bad the moisture is. This is yeah, there's really no excuse for letting this go on for too long. I mean, this is just really, really bad, and it's going to be very difficult to deal with now for sure. And then we got some good old-fashioned termite damage. It means it's like a rim joist, old-fashioned rim joist, really big. See, we've got a little bit of variety on this one. Okay, and then we got some active powder post beetles. The powder post beetles make the small round holes. There's a lot of evidence, but here's some areas where they're actually active also. So we also had some termite evidence. So we've got a triple crown winner here. Got termites, old house borers, and powder post beetles. So this is going to be a tough treatment. And of course, there's a picture of some more growth going on. So definitely kind of all the concerns on this one. So yeah, on a house like that, it's that's going to be a very difficult treatment, because really, when you think about all the growth that's there, all the old house borer evidence, all the powder post beetle evidence, it's a mixture of everything. And so with all the work that was done to that house, I'm not sure how long ago that was all redone, but they're not going to be happy having to take, because in order to really take care of all those issues, you're going to have to remove all the insulation out from underneath that house. It's a big house. So that alone is a lot of work, getting all the insulation out of there, get it all clear. Then we need to do a termite treatment on the house. Then we need to do a spray for the powder post beetles and the old house borers. Possibly, they may want to do something along the lines of soda blasting or something to get the mold out of there. It's all going to have to be addressed though. The mold's going to have to be gotten off there. There's several floor joists that are probably need to be replaced, or at least sistered. So this to take care of this correctly, this will be a very big job. And the thing is, things like this can really easily be avoided by just having someone go up underneath the house once a year. That's the biggest thing I can tell anybody. And I'm not a salesman who says, well, you got to use us, call us and only us. But just have a professional termite man. And I think termite contracts are some of the best deals, because usually they're $100 or so a year, and a professional goes up underneath your house and inspects you for termites. We're also going to tell you about leaks. We're also going to check the moisture for you every year. So all that will be kept an eye on. You will not have a situation like this occur if you're having yearly inspections, because we'll tell you about this before it gets this bad. Now, if you have a termite contract is definitely worth it. Now, if you have a termite contract where they're using bait and they don't go up underneath the house, then you should cancel that contract. You should cancel it right now and get a contract with someone who's going to go up underneath the house, or tell that company that you want them to go up underneath the house and check the house. Bait systems can work. They can be very effective and they can be good if they're monitored properly and they're actually going up underneath the house once a year. A lot of times those systems, they get a little arrogant and they don't think they ever need to go up underneath that house. But I don't care what kind of bait system you use, it's not going to stop the things I saw up underneath that house. It's not going to do anything to control the moisture. It's not going to do anything to monitor that stuff. It's not going to do anything to keep an eye out for the old house boards or the bottomless beetles. So a once a year up underneath the house inspection is absolutely necessary in North Carolina. I don't care what anybody else has told you. Anybody who tells you that's not necessary, you can give them my name and my phone number. You can have them call me and we can talk about it, because they are wrong. That must be done. You must have someone get up underneath that house every year to avoid that type of issue from happening. So that's the best advice I can give you. It doesn't have to be us, but if you're interested in having us check it, we do free estimates for termite contracts. We can take care of you. We're easy to find. We're AAA Exterminating Company. You can email me at aaaexterminating@gmail.com. And it doesn't have to be us, it can be anybody. Just find a professional termite company who will treat your house, or at the very least inspect it for you once a year to stop this type of thing from happening. Because you can save thousands of dollars just by knowing about this up front and catching it before it gets this bad. So that's the best advice I can give you.